My 20 female, brother Mark, 23, has been with his girlfriend, 22, Jane, for a year. She's one of the most passive-aggressive, snarky people you will ever meet. Her middle name is Petty. The thing that caused our family to keep her at arm's length was when she got mad at our mom for accommodating our younger sister's autism and not force-feeding her, as well as allowing her to read at the table, something that calms her down. She got on Mom's butt for enabling an entitled brat. Another example was when my mom supported Mark's decision to get this tattoo he'd been saving up for years. Jane called Mom to complain that he made the deposit with his hard-earned saved money and had an appointment set. She told Mom that she wasn't going to allow this emotional enmeshment anymore and that she's happy to make an appointment for all of us for family therapy, as this enmeshment is making her uncomfortable. She's continued to make comments like these, specifically to Mom, and it's disgusting how little respect she has for pretty much everyone else but herself. She's not been invited to Christmas this year, but Mark is. It's unclear what they're planning to do yet. A few days ago, Jane called me, as Mom had blocked her. She said she was 3 months pregnant and went on a long rant about the family dynamic. She then asked, "Why don't you all like me?" I laughed out of pure shock and asked if she was serious. She didn't respond. She just said, "I'll call you when you're in the mood to be more mature," and hung up. I told Mom about the situation, and she's on my side, but Mark is fuming at me for laughing at Jane's question and angry at Mom for being on my side. Mom just told him that he needs to talk to Jane about her constant comments and insults, and she's expecting an apology. Mark won't talk to me, and Jane blocked my number. Am I the idiot for laughing at my brother's girlfriend? Edit. The tattoo has got nothing to do with our mom. It's an octopus up his arm that my brother designed himself. He does art and wants to be a tattoo artist. And Jane blocked me? Count yourself lucky. Not the idiot. It sounds like Jane has consistently shown disrespect to your family, and your laughter was likely a spontaneous reaction to the irony of her asking why no one likes her, despite her behavior. There's no way she doesn't know why, unless her memory was wiped. Narcissists don't find anything they say wrong. In her view, your family's in the wrong for not catering to her. And I'm sorry that your brother's so far up her lady bits to realize all the toxic nonsense and insults she keeps spewing your way. She's manipulative and controlling, and I hope your brother can realize it and protect himself and his unborn child. Agree. Jane is a textbook example of narcissistic personality disorder. She believes her thoughts and opinions are the only ones that matter. Unless she gets therapy, years of therapy, she'll never change. I feel sorry for your brother. He's going to be dealing with her for the rest of his life. Your family might want to consider an intervention to either convince him to get her into therapy or dump her and fight like heck for total custody of their child, because being raised by someone like her is going to mess them up. I know. I was raised by someone just like that. Yeah, poor brother and his baby. This is an abuser trying to isolate your brother from his friends and family, and succeeding. You guys should have talked to Mark a long time ago to dump this girl. She's a nightmare. And now pregnant? It'll only get worse. You need to all get together and fix this before it's too late. Speaking of ableism, what's going to happen if their kid has autism or another disability? Is she going to treat them the way she treats your sister? Lord, she needs therapy. This is one of those situations where a manipulative person will go to therapy and learn how to manipulate people better. She's already weaponizing modern mental health terms against your family and the brother to try to get what she wants. There may be no way to convince your brother that he's in trouble before the Iron Curtain comes down because he loves her, but you should try to have one calm, loving conversation with him. By the way, test for paternity, just in case Mark is off the hook. My mom's little brother, Alex, he's a young teen, is moving in with us. I don't really mind or care as there's literally nowhere else for him to go right now, but they want me, nearly adult female, to share a room with him. We have 3 rooms. Mom and Dad's room, my room, and a room in the basement. No one uses that room, so I assumed that's where he'd be sleeping. But Mom said no, Alex is scared of the dark, and that specific room has no light. I told her to buy him a lamp, but she got mad and said he's not sleeping in the basement. I asked her why. He was a teen, not 4. She just said I'm being very difficult, and he's going to sleep in there, so I need to get over it. I don't want to share a room with a teen boy, and I have my boyfriend over a lot. Also, I don't even know him. We've never met. It got really bad the night before Alex came. Mom kept talking about where they'd put the mattress, as if it had already been decided. So I told her again that I didn't want him sleeping in my room. She looked angrier than usual and told me that she'd make me sleep in the room in the basement and give him my room if I didn't learn to cooperate. I told her that I didn't care. I wasn't going to let him into my room. Then I went to my room and locked the door. Sometime later, she and my dad asked me to open the door so they could put the mattress in, but I refused. Mom got furious again and said I'm being incredibly selfish. I told her I didn't care. I did the same thing tonight, even though Alex was also here, and Mom wasn't talking to me anymore. Dad said he's really disappointed in me as well, but I think he's just mad, and because they had to put the mattress in their room, and that's where Alex slept. I refuse to budge on this, though I do feel a little bad. Still, he can totally sleep in the basement. They're making it difficult for themselves. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. I wouldn't want a teen boy watching me change, looking at my braless boobs, watching me deal with any female issues that come up. You both need privacy. Nearly adult me would have yelled about how I don't want a teenage boy going through puberty, watching me sleep, change, or access my belongings. Not to mention that it'd probably be pretty uncomfortable for the boy too, both for the reason of changing and also because he'd have to tiptoe around his niece on all those other issues. If I were him, I'd be begging for the basement room with some strong lamps the moment I found out. Why can't your parents sleep in the basement? Yeah, your mom's full of crap. You do not put teenage boys and girls together to sleep in the same room, especially if one of them is your uncle. Move into the basement, put up with it, and move out as soon as you can. You tried to fight it, but honestly, if they insist on him having that room, you can't do much. Be clear that you're angry and feel your privacy's not been respected, and then move your stuff into the basement. I love my wife. My issue is that she cannot act professionally at my work events. I work higher up, and I'm slowly climbing the ranks. My wife is very introverted and works from home. I get it. It can suck, and sometimes you have to socialize with people you don't really like. My issue is I have to watch her like a kid. Last year I invited her, and I begged her not to wear jeans. Finally, I got her to wear something nicer, and then when we got to the event, I had to ask her to stop glaring at people the whole time. Basic manners were forgotten, and she refused to make any small talk with the people at the table. Instead, she played on her phone if I didn't prompt her. It was awful, and my coworkers asked if something was wrong with her after the event. I apologized for her and told everyone she wasn't feeling well. We had a whole argument about it, and she told me she did just fine because she was there. I disagree wholeheartedly. The event is tonight, and I plan on going alone. I informed her earlier this week, and she hasn't seemed to care until now. She started grilling me about why I didn't want her to go, and I told her it was because she could not behave. This started an argument, and she thinks I'm a jerk. Not the idiot. Well, I agree as an introvert that I find the holiday office events sometimes annoying. Your wife was immature and clearly sulked all evening. She's making her displeasure known to all. Having to beg her not to wear jeans to an office holiday event is ridiculous. So while you tried to accommodate her, not asking her to go, the fact that she insisted on questioning you tells me she already knew that you found her behavior rude. She wanted a fight over this. I suspect that she doesn't want you to go at all, hence the last-minute questions and drama. Maybe she's annoyed that you're not bothered by going alone. You are the idiot. She can't behave? What is she, a toddler? You even said she's an introvert. She's awkward in social situations, probably neurodivergent, and her mere presence there is probably her trying her best, which she said. It sounds like she did her best to be there for you, and your response this year is to not invite her because she can't behave. You seem bothered about this, somehow harming your career. Just learn to tell your coworkers that your wife is shy or socially awkward, so she might not be the life and soul of the party. Everyone will understand. Oh, I call BS. This from an introvert. I'm sick of people thinking we can't behave in social events. We have a short battery, so we don't glare at people, we don't ignore people, and we don't act like rude people. Yes, she isn't behaving. She can make small talk for an event. This isn't hard. She's acting like a toddler. I don't know why so many people nowadays use introvert as an excuse to be rude or idiots towards others. The other day, I, 28 male, went to a work party that one of my friends, 28 female, from uni, who also works at the same company, was attending. At the end of the night, she asked if I could drop her off at the tube station or home since I'd come by car. I didn't drink because I was driving. I said I was in a bit of a rush, unfortunately, and couldn't, even though in reality I could have, since the tube was on the way home, and dropping her home wouldn't have added much to my commute. I was concerned since I wasn't sure how comfortable my girlfriend would be with me having another girl in the car alone. She was also a little tipsy, and she's probably also not the most careful person, considering she was robbed twice before in the past 5 years. Apparently, she actually got robbed again. She was at the bus stop, and she noticed the straps of her purse had been cut off, and she was just wearing the straps with no purse. So she lost her phone, cash, and cards, and had to walk for an hour home in heels. But luckily, her flat uses a digital PIN, so she could get in. She seems a little cross with me now, despite not directly blaming me, but I feel like it's on her to be more careful. I never had an issue before, and I'm not some muscular guy. I'm just 5'6", and she's 5 feet. Back in uni, we sometimes walked together between buildings, but that was a long time ago. In my mind, she just wanted to avoid getting hit on, but she'd managed to handle that herself now. Now I'm wondering if I was an idiot. I asked my girlfriend, and she said I should have dropped her, and she'd have no problem with it, but I didn't know that at the time. At the same time, she should be taking precautions, like I knew I'd be driving, so I didn't drink. She knows she has a late commute, so she should be aware of her surroundings and belongings and not drink too much. You are the idiot. She was an intoxicated woman trying to get home late at night. If you didn't think she'd make a responsible decision, that's a discussion to have the next day, but making her walk home in that state put her in a perilous position. Also, if your girlfriend would get mad that you gave a friend a ride home when she was intoxicated late at night, she's also a major idiot. Are you even sure this is the case? I've never met a woman who would want another woman to walk home in that condition. I really feel like you didn't want to give your friend a ride, and you're using your girlfriend as a cover. He also victim blamed her for being robbed multiple times. She's not that careful because she's been robbed twice before. What an idiot. It wouldn't have taken you anything to drop her at the station. You said so yourself. And I agree your girlfriend is an idiot if she's so jealous and insecure that she would rather leave an intoxicated girl to walk home alone at night versus giving her a quick lift. I, 50 female, am very ill, and I likely will be entering hospice sometime next year. I just want a final holiday at home. My husband, James, and I have been married for 3 years, but have been in a romantic relationship for a total of 5 years. Besides my tween daughter, Amy, my husband has 3 kids of his own. My daughter's actually biologically my niece, but I adopted her when she was 1 because her biological dad died, and my sister's still sitting in prison today. And Amy will be well into adulthood before she gets a shot at parole. But in everybody else's eyes in this life, and I'd like to think the next, Amy is my daughter. For a while, I thought James would be yet another example of how biology doesn't make a parent. I thought we were a family, and he was completely devoted to me and Amy, just as I was to his kids. We spoke of adoption, and the first time we spoke of it was 2 years ago. Then I began getting sick, and this fell by the wayside. Then 2 months ago, I found out that James had a one-night stand with a coworker 4 years ago. We were having a rough patch and hadn't been sleeping together, true, but he blamed it on being intoxicated. She later quit without notice, but she decided to find me online and expose him after he wouldn't take her back to the restaurant. I felt James was hiding something after storming off from our fights. Now I'm dying and find myself stuck in therapy with this. He claims he hasn't cheated since, and I don't have the suspicion after that period, but I don't know what to think anymore. He begged me not to divorce, if only so he could take care of me and also for his health insurance. But now all he's been doing is agonizing about adopting Amy. But all I'm thinking about is he had this one-night stand, but there must have been flirting beforehand. And he was the one in a relationship, so he should have had the impulse control and respect for his partner. I don't like what that says about his character and feel he isn't as sorry as he ought to have been. During our conversation, he said he loves Amy and that he admits that he cheated, so he's a cheater. But that mistake doesn't take away his care for Amy and her welfare. He said that he deserves any punishment with regard to our marriage, but I'd be punishing Amy because the state would be here the moment I died. I know that I would have either divorced him or put my energy into therapy. I've spoken with the lawyer, and I'm considering divorcing him because I know that would have been my first stop if I was still healthy. I don't want to deal with the cheating husband. The fact that he did this makes me worried about whether he'd again let his impulses cloud his better judgment. I'm not sure whether that would extend to allowing an unsuitable partner in because he needs intimacy and nothing else. James is upset and says that my parents are dead and the only relative I have is on welfare with 5 kids, but I want to rescind my offer because I no longer trust him. Am I the idiot? He keeps saying do this for Amy. If you let Amy go into the system rather than be taken care of by someone who loves her, then you are the idiot for sure. You have every right to be upset and hurt by a cheating idiot. However, you must look past your feelings and do what's best for Amy. You may not be able to trust him to be faithful, but has he given you a single reason why he couldn't take care of Amy? Knowing you won't be around, the fact that he still wants to adopt her says something to me. You would be selfish to leave her fate to the system. Please look past your feelings and do what's right for her. Exactly. OP would rather risk their daughter being bounced around between foster homes, being abused or worse, than let her husband who loves the child be with her. Yes, good foster homes exist, but the chances of the daughter being placed in one and staying there until adulthood are extremely low. Just because you can't trust him not to cheat doesn't mean you can't trust him to be a good father. And even if you have doubts, what is the alternative? This is incredibly difficult, but think about your daughter.